Charlie Kirk was a major force in American conservative politics, rising to national prominence at a remarkably young age. His journey began in the suburbs of Chicago, where he developed a passion for political debate and activism as a teenager. Kirk quickly became known for his sharp rhetoric and ability to energize crowds, setting the stage for his future influence. In 2012, he founded Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization dedicated to mobilizing young people on college campuses and promoting conservative values. Under his leadership, Turning Point USA rapidly expanded, establishing chapters at hundreds of schools and hosting high-profile events that drew national attention. By his early 30s, Kirk had built a massive platform, radio shows, podcasts, and a social media following that reached millions. He became a familiar face and voice for a generation of conservatives, using digital media to amplify his message and connect with supporters across the country. He was known for his direct, often confrontational style, especially at his Prove Me Wrong campus debates, which drew both passionate supporters and fierce critics. These events became a hallmark of his approach, sparking heated discussions and making headlines for their intensity. Kirk's influence extended well beyond college campuses. He was a trusted Trump ally and a regular on major news networks, shaping the conservative movement's future. He frequently appeared on television panels and talk shows where his opinions helped steer national conversations on key issues. His events were often controversial, but they energized a new generation of conservative activists. Kirk's ability to mobilize young people and create a sense of community around his ideas was unmatched in recent years. Supporters saw him as a defender of free speech, someone willing to challenge the status quo and stand up for their beliefs in the face of opposition. Opponents, however, accused him of fueling division and stoking controversy for political gain. His presence on campuses often sparked protests and heated debates about the limits of free expression. His close relationship with President Trump elevated his status, making him a central figure in Republican politics and a key player in shaping the party's direction for the next generation. Kirk's sudden, violent death has left a void in the movement and sparked national debate about the state of political discourse. Many are now questioning the impact of polarization and the risks faced by public figures in today's charged environment. His legacy remains deeply polarizing, but his impact on American politics is undeniable. Whether admired or criticized, Charlie Kirk's influence will be felt for years to come as the nation grapples with the issues he brought to the forefront. On September 10, 2025, Utah Valley University was buzzing with anticipation. Charlie Kirk, a well-known conservative commentator, was hosting a Prove Me Wrong event, drawing a crowd of thousands, students, faculty, and visitors from across the state. The campus was alive with energy, as people gathered to witness heated debates and challenge ideas in a spirited yet civil environment. The atmosphere was electric, with passionate discussions, colorful signs, and a sense of excitement in the air. But in an instant, everything changed. A single sharp gunshot rang out, slicing through the noise and shattering the sense of safety. Kirk, in the middle of answering a question about mass shootings, was suddenly struck by a bullet. He collapsed forward at the table, his words cut short, as the audience gasped in disbelief. Panic erupted instantly, screams echoed, people dove for cover, and chaos swept through the crowd. Some tried to help, while others scrambled to escape, unsure if more shots would follow. First responders fought their way through the confusion, struggling to reach Kirk as the panicked crowd surged around them. Every second felt like an eternity. The entire event was being live-streamed, and within moments, the horror unfolded in real time for viewers across the country. Social media feeds exploded with shock and disbelief. University officials immediately initiated a campus-wide lockdown. Law enforcement swarmed the area, securing buildings and searching for the shooter, as fear and uncertainty gripped everyone present. Investigators quickly determined that the single, precise shot was no accident. It bore all the hallmarks of a targeted assassination, not a random act of violence. The attack's public live nature stunned the nation. What began as a political debate was now a crime scene, broadcast for all to see. As the day ended, the university community gathered in shock and grief. Vigils were held, flowers laid at makeshift memorials, and people struggled to process the loss of a major political voice. The footage and news spread rapidly, reaching millions within hours. The impact was felt far beyond Utah, sparking debates and mourning nationwide. The debate was over, replaced by fear, sorrow, and a nation left searching for answers in the aftermath of tragedy. The assassination was executed with chilling precision from a rooftop 150 yards away, using a high-powered rifle and scope. Security footage captured a college-age suspect in a black top with a bald eagle and U.S. flag emblem, sunglasses, and a dark cap. The shooter exploited campus vulnerabilities to access the roof undetected. After firing, the suspect quickly escaped, jumping from the roof and vanishing into nearby woods. The chaos gave the shooter a critical head start, evading the immediate police response. A massive manhunt began, but as of September 12th, the suspect remains at large. Law enforcement released images and descriptions, urging public assistance. The attack's planning and flawless execution have made the investigation especially challenging. Federal and state agencies are prioritizing the search, working around the clock. The nation waits anxiously for answers as the manhunt intensifies. Investigators quickly found a key piece of evidence, a Mauser bolt-action rifle with a scope, abandoned in the woods. The rifle, with an expended shell casing, confirmed the long-range, premeditated nature of the attack. Disturbingly, phrases related to cultural issues were scrawled on the weapon and ammunition, hinting at a political motive. Forensic teams are analyzing the rifle for fingerprints, DNA, and other trace evidence. On the rooftop, investigators collected palm prints, footwear, and forearm impressions, each potentially crucial for identifying the shooter. The FBI is leading the investigation, offering a $100,000 reward for information. Hundreds of public tips are being pursued as authorities piece together the suspect's movements. The evidence, rifle, forensic traces, and security footage, forms the backbone of the case. Officials hope one of these clues will break the investigation open. The search for the killer is relentless and urgent. Charlie Kirk's assassination sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving millions in disbelief and mourning. The news spread rapidly, and the world paused to process the gravity of what had happened. Vigils and moments of silence were held in cities from New York to Berlin as people gathered in public squares and outside embassies to pay their respects. The outpouring of grief was immediate and heartfelt, with candles illuminating the night in a show of unity and sorrow. On social media, platforms scrambled to remove graphic footage from the event's live stream, working around the clock to prevent the spread of disturbing images and misinformation. Tech companies and broadcasters coordinated efforts to ensure that the tragedy was not exploited or used to glorify violence, implementing new safeguards and monitoring systems in real time. Political leaders from across the spectrum quickly condemned the killing, calling it an attack on democracy and the values that bind society together. Their statements reflected a rare moment of unity in a deeply divided political landscape. In response, officials called for increased security at public events, promising to review protocols and protect both leaders and citizens from future threats. The tragedy dominated news cycles for days, with headlines and breaking news alerts capturing the world's attention. It sparked intense debate about the dangers of escalating political rhetoric, misinformation, and the responsibilities of public figures and media. Within Turning Point USA, Kirk's organization, the loss was deeply personal. Staff and supporters gathered to mourn, share memories, and reflect on his legacy. Grief and uncertainty ran deep, but members vowed to continue his work, determined to honor his vision and keep his mission alive despite the tragedy. The loss has left a significant void in the conservative movement, raising questions about its future direction and leadership. For many supporters, the assassination has become a rallying point, inspiring renewed commitment and activism in his memory. Yet, it also serves as a sobering warning about the consequences of division and hatred in public life. The nation is left to reckon with the aftermath of political violence, searching for answers and a path forward. Now, more than ever, the future of civil discourse and democracy itself hangs in the balance. President Trump, deeply shaken by Kirk's death, called it a heinous assassination and blamed a radical left lunatic. He assured the nation that law enforcement was making rapid progress and pledged the full resources of the federal government to the manhunt. FBI Director Kash Patel traveled to Utah to oversee the investigation personally. Trump announced he would attend Kirk's funeral and posthumously award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Vice President J.D. Vance accompanied Kirk's family as his casket was flown home on Air Force Two. the administration drew parallels to the recent attempt on Trump's own life, framing the attack as part of a broader pattern of political violence. Trump's vow for justice is both a promise to solve the crime and a warning to his political adversaries. Kirk's assassination is the latest in a disturbing trend of political violence in America. Recent years have seen attacks on public officials, election workers, and even ordinary citizens, fueling fear and instability. The Utah shooting, targeting a commentator during a public debate, sent a chilling message. Even speech can be deadly. Lawmakers are now calling for heightened security at all political events, not just for elected officials. The tragedy has sparked urgent debate about the role of rhetoric and the need to restore civility. The nation faces a reckoning with the consequences of extreme polarization. Kirk's death is a stark warning of what's at stake if violence continues unchecked. The investigation is moving at breakneck speed, with the FBI and local authorities focused on identifying the suspect from security footage. Enhanced images and a detailed description have been broadcast nationwide, and the public is urged to report any leads. Hundreds of tips are being vetted, and investigators are reconstructing the suspect's movements using security and traffic cameras. Forensic analysis of the rifle, shell casing, and rooftop prints is underway at Quantico. Behavioral experts are analyzing the phrases on the rifle to build a psychological profile. Utah police canceled a news conference, fueling speculation of a breakthrough. The university remains an active crime scene, with classes canceled. The relentless, coordinated effort reflects the urgency of the case. The nation watches, hoping for answers and justice. Every clue brings investigators closer to the truth. Charlie Kirk's assassination has left a deep mark on American politics and those he inspired. Supporters saw him as a mentor and fearless leader. His death is a personal and political loss. The tragedy has forced a national conversation about polarization and the dangers of dehumanizing rhetoric. Many hope this moment will prompt a return to civil debate and a commitment to peaceful disagreement. The investigation and eventual prosecution remain in the public eye, raising questions about security and free speech. Kirk's legacy is complex, patriot to some, divisive to others, but his impact is undeniable. His death stands as a symbol of a fractured nation and a call to find a better way forward. The cost of political hatred is now painfully clear. The echo of that single shot will resonate for years to come.